Monday Night Raw, baby. San Antonio, Texas, the Raw after the crazy and wild Royal Rumble. What did WWE have in store for us? We will break it down. Drew McIntyre comes out, the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble winner. He comes out and he announces that, obviously, as I predicted, he challenges Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Drew is over, man. Drew is over. This man was just heel a month ago. And now he's over because people realize that, even I do, like, it's been time. You know what I'm saying? It's been time for his push. But, WWE kept delaying it. But it's time. He deserves it. 11 years in the making. This man was fired in 2014, 2015? Fired. Went out and reinvented himself. Went to TNA. Came back. He was in there. Drew Galloway comes back. Drew McIntyre is back. He had his little sting in NXT. He was the NXT champion. Having, match of the year candidates with, Bobby Roode. Andrade as well. Then he dropped it to Andrade. Came back to the main roster. Had his tag team run with Dolph Ziggler. Raw tag team champion. Alongside, Dolph Ziggler. Had great matches, a great feud with the Shield, even though he was on the losing end majority of them. But now he's on his own. Had a rough start when he was on his own, losing the Ricochet and and having injuries and whatnot. Losing the big dog Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 35, and just had a rough patch. But now back in full swings. He the Royal Rumble winner, and hopefully he beats Brock Lesnar. After he announced that he's going to face Brock Lesnar, he wanted to fight. He wanted somebody to come out and fight. Then the OC, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows comes out, and they was basically challenging to a match. It was a 2-on-1 match, 2-on-1 handicap. Drew wins this easily. The OC jobbed, rightfully so, to the Royal Rumble winner. Then Brock Lesnar, typical Brock Lesnar. I'm doing what Brock Lesnar does, attacks people, and he F5 Drew McIntyre. Typical Brock. After this, it was the second match of the night. The returning MVP against the legend himself, Rey Mysterio. It was a good match. It was a solid match. Good to see MVP back. Rey Mysterio wins this match, though. Aleister Black's squash match. Aleister Black should really go back to NXT because he hasn't done anything since he's been called up. He had this little thing with Ricochet. Them being a tag team. They went on to face. It was a fatal 4-way tag team match at WrestleMania 35. Him and Ricochet against the Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions at that time, against Shinsuke, Rusev, and I think it was the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. After that, it was they haven't done anything really important with Black. Challenging. He will be challenging people to matches and people knock on his door, and it's dumb. He deserves more. Aleister Black. After this, it was the Raw Tag Team Championships championship match. The newly crowned Rollins and Buddy Murphy, the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy against Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe. Unfortunately, Joe hit his head on the floor. He couldn't finish the match. So KO had to go it alone. KO held his own for a while against Murphy and the Monday Night Messiah, until things turned and Rollins and Murphy got the W and retained. I see these boys holding the title for a while, for tag team titles for a while. Maybe past Mania, we'll see. Before the Andrade and Humberto match, Humberto Carrillo, Royal Rumble rematch for the U.S. title, Becky Lynch cut a promo basically saying she was the best. She's the greatest. She's the greatest women's champion. Raw women's champion. And it kind of sounded, a little cocky-ish, a little arrogant-ish. Is this going to lead to a heel turn or, I don't really think it was really a heel turn in the first place. She turned on Charlotte SummerSlam 2 years ago or a year ago. It was just time for her to just change her character. And then the man just popped. And she was pretty much a tweener in a sense. Like, she was supposed to turn heel, but people cheered her. So then she would do heel things, but people cheered her. Kind of like that CM Punk vibe. So I don't really think she's a heel or a face. She's just one of those where you like her, but at the same time she does stuff like heelish type stuff or say heelish things. So, is this going to lead to her, I don't know, but we shall see. Then after this, obviously, like I said, indicated it was the Andrade defending his U.S. title against Humberto Carrillo. It was a solid match. There was a point where Humberto seemed like he was going to win, but Zelina Vega breaks the pin. She breaks the pin, and Andrade retained. Humberto tried to get his revenge back. He did get his revenge back by DDTing Andrade on the unpadded floor, leaving him in a heap. And I feel like this rivalry is going to continue. Humberto Carrillo and Andrade. Andrade going to be out for a minute, though, because of a wellness policy issue. Yeah, Andrade, man. Same like Robert Roode. So we'll see what happens with that. Then Charlotte Flair comes out. Charlotte Flair, the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. Unfortunately, I wanted Baszler to win, but whatever. She comes out and she proclaims that she's the best. And just when you thought she was gonna say who she's gonna face at WrestleMania, as far as like what championship, the current women's tag team champions, Asuka and Kairi Sane, comes out and they interrupt her, and it led to an impromptu match between. It was a WrestleMania 34 rematch, pretty much a Charlotte versus Asuka. The match was solid. It was okay. Just when it looks as if Asuka was going to tap out to the figure 8, Kairi Sane comes out with the elbow on Flair. Charlotte wins this match by disqualification, and that's how that ended. Next after this was my boys, Street Profits. The Street Profits, doing this comedy shtick. They deserve better than that. They should be in a tag team title hunt, at least. Doing this comedy stuff. Then Kelly comes out and helps them, and it was okay. Mojo Rawley comes out then with some type of offensive lineman guy. And he was pretty much saying, Mojo was pretty much challenging anybody for a 24/7 title match. That was the first time ever someone as the 24/7 championship champion calling somebody out for a match. So, No Way Jose, today's version of Adam Rose, No Way Jose comes out and challenges him. it was okay match. Then after this, somebody in a clown suit pins Mojo, and it turns out to be R-Truth, becoming the 24/7 champion for the 1,000th time. And Mojo's linemen surrounded him and whatever, and Mojo did his finisher on Truth, and Mojo got the title back from Truth. Yeah, it was an okay match. It was okay segment. After this was Liv Morgan, the beautiful, versus Alana. Not saying Alana is beautiful, but Liv. Oh my God. Well, so Liv Morgan faced Lana, and it was what it was. Liv wins this match, as I predicted. Yeah, I guess they're gonna continue it. I don't know. No, it was no Rusev, no Bob. So, yeah. Another Rowan squash match. Just a shame. This man had promised just a couple months ago. He was facing the big dog, Roman Reigns. And now he's just doing this little thing with the cage. And he jobbed to Brock at the Rumble. He's supposed to be this big threat, but he just get thrown out by Brock. Now he's just doing squash matches, excuse me, and it was just sad. After this was the return of the Rated R Superstar on Monday Night Raw, Edge. He was pretty much saying that, he always wanted to come back. He was forced to retire due to injury, his neck. And, he just worked his tail off after getting surgery. And he says he's going to end his career on his terms. And next thing you know, Randy Orton comes out. And, he says that, Rated R KO should come back. Me and you, one last run. Then next you know, RKO out of nowhere. And, Randy just beats down Edge. And then next you know, the memorable concerto that made famous by Christian and Edge. Randy Orton did a concerto where, he put Edge on a table on a steel chair and hit his head on the chair with a chair. Concerto. And just typical heel Randy. Always been best. I say heel. So I guess this is going to lead to a Randy Edge match at WrestleMania. Edge is going to play hurt, off TV for a while. Then once, Mania comes closer, Edge is going to come back. So, and get his revenge. So, I'm excited. I love to see Edge. Randy Orton's always been one of my favorites. Not just right now, but of all time. So, I love to see this match. It was a solid Raw after the Rumble. So we'll see what's ahead of us. From next week. Aleister Black deserves more. We'll see what Charlotte does as far as her choice. What she does with her decision as far as what championship she want to go after. Good to see MVP. Drew McIntyre. I'm happy for Drew. Very happy for Drew. We'll see. We'll see what's in store for him as far as next week. Because Brock Lesnar don't show up. Brock Lesnar don't show up. So we'll see what he does as far as continuing the feud with promos or matches and whatnot. What's next for Kevin Owens and Joe? You know what I'm saying? Their goals was to just demolish Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, the Monday Night Messiah, and they just failed every single time. They failed to capture the Raw Tag Team titles. They failed to eliminate Rollins from the Roma match. So like, what's next? What's next for Kevin Owens and Joe? Mania season coming up. Is it going to be a match between them? Inter-promotional match between them. Who's the next contenders to Rollins and Murphy? It's Profits. Is going to be the former tag team champions themselves, the Viking Raiders. What's next? What's next for Andrade? Is he going to drop the title because of this wellness, policy issue? Or is he just going to get off TV for a while? And, I don't know. We'll see. Definitely we'll see what happens with Randy Orton next week as far as explaining his actions. Typical Randy, heel Randy. It's heel Randy. So we'll see what happens with right there. More than likely, it's going to be another match between this four superstar situation, with Lana and Bob, Rusev and Liv Morgan. Oh man. Anyway, so we'll see what happens, man. Next week, I don't know where they're gonna be at, but it's gonna be a great Raw. Until then, yes sir.